So, Chef Grant Achatz has been called a genius and the Beethoven of the culinary world. The New York Times named him the next great chef in America. What happened to him is almost unfathomable. He wants it to be a wake-up call for everybody watching. People magazine calls Chef Grant Achatz a food scientist, sculptor, and magician.
Good evening. Welcome to Alinea.
Alinea is a restaurant that is more than just about filling your stomach. It's more about trying to evoke emotions, trying to craft an experience.
Using unconventional ingredients like liquid nitrogen, he creates one-of-a-kind dishes. Some plates arrive floating on pillows of lavender air or suspended on bouncing antennas.
And we've had guests cry with either enjoyment or just overwhelming emotion at the table.
In 2007, Gourmet magazine awarded him its highest honor, Best Restaurant of the Year. But while rising to the top, Chef Grant was working 20-hour days, and it started to take a toll.
When the white spot first appeared on the left side of my tongue, it was tiny, like 1 millimeter, maybe smaller. And it stayed that way for a really long time.
Grant ignored the spot for months, but eventually asked his dentist about it.
She was like, no, you know, you're probably just stressed out. You're probably grinding your teeth at night. Don't worry about it. And eventually I went to another doctor, general practitioner. He looked at it and said basically the exact same thing.
Grant says the pain became unbearable.
You know, eating was really difficult, basically liquids only, soup, milkshakes. At that point, I probably lost about 20 pounds.
After years of misdiagnosis and multiple doctors telling him not to worry, Grant finally went to see an oral surgeon.
They took a biopsy. I was just like shocked. It turns out it was cancer. The doctor's telling me, Mr. Achatz, I have bad news. Cancer is very advanced, stage 4. I mean, he looked me dead in the eyes and says, if we don't remove your tongue, you're gonna die in about 6 months.
Well, you're here.
I'm here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to talk with him when we come back. And the wake-up call you want to share for everyone else is don't take no for an answer.
Right. I mean, well, there's two things for me personally. It's one, you have to be your own advocate, and when somebody tells you that this is the recommended treatment, if it doesn't sound agreeable to you, go get another opinion. Mm-hmm. You know, that's really important.
Yeah. And what's also interesting is, though, the first time you were diagnosed and the doctor said, it's nothing.
Right.
And the other doctor said, it's nothing. You thought it was something, didn't you?
Well, intuitively, you know.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
Look, everybody knows about their body.
Right.
And you have a little spot that's not healing, and it's not going away. And the unfortunate thing is, it's such a simple thing. Like, I kept going back to the dentist. All they had to do, they have tests now. It's a simple brush. They just stroke over the lesion and send it off to be analyzed. It's, you know, it's so easy to be prevented. The cancer, at that point, when it was a tiny little white dot, wasn't actually cancer. It was a level of dysplasia, right? Which is, it could have been cut off, you know, 10 minutes in the office. But it got untreated and undiagnosed, and it went on and on for 3 years, and it advanced to stage 4. And at that point, your treatment options are very limited, and they're very aggressive.
Yeah.
I actually spoke to your doctor, and I asked him one very simple question. Why did it take 5 doctors to get this answer? And he said, that's how medicine progresses in our space.
Right.
And that's unfortunately how it is in a lot of our spaces. It takes a long time for what works to percolate through the system. So being a smart patient is not being selfish. It's being brave enough to stand up and say, you know what, I'm going to do this not just for me, but for the guy behind me, because they're going to benefit as well. That's how we'll make healthcare safer in America.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Chef Grant, we'll be right back.